someone approached me and was like, "You look like you getting brighter, you bleaching." And when they approached me about that, I was like, "Oh, no." Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's so good to have you guys here. If you're new, you're welcome to browse around. I'm just starting up and still working on what direction I want my channel to go in, but I don't think you'll be disappointed. That's just my personal opinion. So guys, I really wanted to have a discussion with you all. This is a video idea I've been thinking of for a while. It's really just me trying to figure out, like, where do we get low self-esteem from? Because me personally, I struggled with low self-esteem. Like, I struggled just with like my self-image and loving myself and stuff like that. Growing up, I struggled with it, and I don't know why, but I just didn't think the people around me also struggled with it. But my eyes are opening up to the fact that we all low-key or high-key have things that we dislike about ourselves or things that we struggle with. So yeah, we're going to see where this goes, and hopefully it makes sense. So just a little bit of my story. As you all know, I grew up as a pastor's kid. So I kind of was sheltered from the world in a sense. But my dad always, like, it was important to him that he instilled self-love into us and, like, always called us beautiful and this, that, and the third. And it was also because we were dark-skinned, like, on the spectrum of black, who was light and who was dark, and in between, I'm dark-skinned. I don't know, growing up, that was very, that used to bother me a lot. No, that used to bother me. I remember at one point, I think it was in grade 7. Yeah, in grade 7, I low-key was trying to bleach. Like, I tried bleaching cream for like maybe 3-4 days. And I had to stop because someone approached me and was like, "You look like you getting brighter, you bleaching." And when they approached me about that, I was like, "Oh, no."
Why you always lying?
Then I threw the cream away and never went back since. But still, like, the fact that I felt like I needed to bleach just to, like, brighten my skin tone says a lot about just the way I saw myself, the way I viewed society, and my views on what was beautiful. In my eyes, I thought brighter was beautiful and dark was, like, dingy, not good. I don't think like that now, thank God, but that's where I came from. That's where I was. I feel going to school and just even talking to boys and stuff like that, you can't help but pick up these insecurities, I feel like in the Caribbean, it's a discussion nobody really want to talk about, but I feel like we need to talk about it. For me personally, I had somebody tell me before, "I like you, I really like you, and I normally don't like dark-skinned girls." And I'm like, what do you want me to do with this information? Like, was this supposed to be a compliment? And just little stuff like that. And I feel like growing up also, being light-skinned was the thing. Like, once you was light-skinned, you were pretty, guys flocked to you. You just look good. And being dark-skinned for a minute, it was a struggle. I can't speak for everybody, but from my personal experience, it was a struggle. In my eyes, it's like, okay, you done dark, right? And then we live in the Caribbean, and the sun is hot all the time. So you weren't just black. Like, you weren't just dark. You dark and greasy. That's how I used to see it. And it took me a while to really embrace my color, like my skin tone, if that makes sense. Yeah, because I feel like as the years went on, like now in 2020, we're in a pro-black society where, like, being dark is beautiful. People are embracing their skin tones and stuff like that. That makes me so happy, but I want people to realize, like, I've talked to younger girls and stuff like that. I've talked to my sisters and stuff like that. And this whole, like, I'm too black stigma still exists in some people. I feel like we need to do a bit more, especially in the Caribbean. We need to do a bit more on, like, encouraging girls to embrace their natural skin tone. I've heard people say, "Oh, she's too black." I've heard people say, "Wow, like, she ain't black, she blue." I've heard things like that. And it's like, what's wrong with being dark-skinned? Like, what is wrong with that? I mean, this is the color that you came out of the womb with. Like, what are you supposed to do with that? Where you, I don't know. So I feel like that's one of the things that kind of played a role in my low self-esteem. You know, I always felt inadequate around my lighter skinned friends, and they didn't, honestly and truly, I have no friends who like made me feel inadequate, but it was already this thing in my mind that kind of automatically assumed, okay, you're probably the worst looking of the bunch, and this, you know, or if you don't know, like these are just automatic insecurities that kind of repeated itself over and over in my head. For me personally, I had to beat myself out of that. Like I had to talk to myself in the mirror or in a like daily, constantly, like you are beautiful, your skin is beautiful. You know, I had to tell myself that there's nothing wrong with you. And I feel like we need to encourage our young girls and our young men as well. We need to encourage them. Look in the mirror and say, just talk to you. Nothing wrong with listen, nothing wrong with talking to yourself. Like I do it all the time. Sometimes I be giving myself little pep talks like you need to stop downplaying yourself. You know, you are bomb. You are bomb. These niggas can. Come on. Come on. Come on. I feel like we need to encourage this. Like, I see us moving in that direction now, but we're still kind of crawling towards it, if that makes sense. Another thing that I dealt with heavily, I wouldn't say heavily, but for like 2 years I was bulimic. And I struggle with bulimia. So if nobody knows, bulimia is like an eating disorder basically, where you stuff yourself, like you binge eat food. You know how you binge watch TV? You binge eat food constantly, and then when you're done binging the food, you make yourself puke. And I don't even know how I know I got into it. Like, it was so random. I was brushing my teeth one day after eating. Mind you guys, I was in grade 7 when I picked up this habit. So like, yeah, I was 11 or 12 years old. And I went to junior high. I was fine all throughout primary school, but I went to junior high. I went to a private school for grade 7 and 8. And I don't know, I just got amongst everybody. Like, I was sheltered, and the whole like thing with boys and this, that, and the third didn't really, it wasn't a big thing for me yet. And I just, you know, going into junior high, you're introduced to this new world and new people, and you have to find your friends and where you belong and stuff like that. And even then, I felt inadequate. I don't know where it came from, but I knew I wasn't happy with my body. I wasn't happy with my size. Imagine being 11, 12 years old. Like, I don't even think this is supposed to be a concern for me, but it was. And I just was brushing my teeth one day after eating when I was home. And at that point, my toothbrush, you know, you brush your tongue. I don't know about you, but for me, when I brush my tongue, I kind of do the most. And then it causes gagging effect. This is very nasty. My toothbrush went too far back, right? And as it went back, it just caused, it's like putting your finger down your throat. It caused me to regurgitate my food. And at that point, I just was like, that's weird. I don't think I did it again straight afterwards, but I knew maybe a month or two later, I was like, okay, you want to lose weight, you eat too much. You can't gain weight if you're bringing up the food you eating. And I just started doing that, and it became a daily thing. And no one in my family knew. I just used to eat. Then I go in the bathroom, and I bring up what I got to bring up. And I always used to put my toothbrush. I used to use the toothbrush and put it back there and let the food come up. And I did that all throughout the first half of grade 7, throughout grade 8. And I switched schools for grade 9. And I was doing it for a bit in grade 9 as well. At that time, I don't know. I don't remember exactly, but I really don't feel as if I was doing anything bad per se at that time. Keep in mind, I started this when I was probably 11, 12, and I probably stopped at age 14. The weight was coming off. In my head, I was like, okay, this is effective. But I probably knew it was wrong because I never told anybody I was doing it while I was doing it. I was sitting down thinking about it, like, why why did I feel the need to do that? Then, you know, it's hard bringing up things like this to like family members and stuff like that, because eating disorders, being anorexic, having bulimia and stuff like that, I don't know, I've never heard of anybody being like that in the Bahamas. Or if people are like that, they've never said it. So like in my head, I'm like, okay, you don't need to be telling nobody this, because this is a, who cares with your sad story? It ain't that deep. And that's how I used to put it. Like, that's how I used to see it. At my big 24-year-old age, it bothers me that I used to do that. And then it makes me wonder who else used to do it. Like, my sisters didn't know I was doing this. And then it makes me think of like my little cousins, a lot of the little girls, young women that I used to mentor in church and stuff like that. Like, it makes me wonder, like, did you guys do this? The reality is it isn't healthy. It's kind of a mental disorder as well. It really isn't good. If you want me to be honest on why I stopped doing this at age 14, I switched schools again. So I went to a new school, high school. At that point, boys were into me, and child, at that point I was like, okay, ain't nothing else you gotta do because you look good now. Like, that's the way my mind was thinking. So imagine, like, just playing it back in my head now, it took the validation of men or little boys to make me stop hurting myself, in a sense. And that's sad. That's actually sad, and it's upsetting me in my own girls. Like, it's really sad. I wish I had like some coming to Jesus story about that particular matter, but that's not the story, and I'm not gonna lie about it. And I used to entertain guys all the time because they made me feel good. You know who I'm gonna? You make me feel good. I already have this low self-esteem, so yeah, I needed somebody to make me up, talk me up, make me feel good, you know, entertain me, this, that, and the third. I did love that. I did a lot of self-reflecting and stuff like that, and I realized who I think I am was based off of what other people thought of me. And even to this day, I'm not gonna lie, guys, like, my self-esteem is actually really good. Like, it's really high. Like, you can call me conceited, I don't care. I love this person right here. I struggle sometimes. Like, you guys know, I want a slim waist. There's sometimes when, like, I know I've eaten things I wasn't supposed to eat, and then the thought comes to my mind to, like, just puke it up, you know. I don't want to pick up that habit. I don't want to pick up that habit, so I don't do it. I don't force myself to do anything. I just settle in the thought that what's done is done. Move on. Live life better the next day. And even with the whole colorism thing, like, I'm comfortable in the way that I look, you know. I'm beautiful, dark-skinned, empress, sweet thing. Darker the berry, the sweeter the juice, you know. I just, I love myself. But I know there are times when, like, I do not feel good about myself. And that's okay. Like, you can have a high self-esteem, and there are times when, like, you just, yeah. What I'm saying is to love yourself in the stage that you are in right now. Love who you are in the now. And if there are things you want to change or things you can improve, you work on a plan to improve them. But don't down yourself right where you are. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to have this talk. It was on my heart. And if anybody wants to talk to me, you can come ahead and do it. My chat is open. If you enjoyed this, make sure that you like, make sure that you comment, make sure that you subscribe. And if you have anything else that you want me to talk about, because trust me, I can talk with things, you can drop them in the comments below. I'm open to it. So I'll see you guys later.